So next on the agenda for today is a presentation from me, Bill Wilberg, Blackboard surveys for classroom assessment. I really want to talk about classroom assessment, and then as a second thing, how Blackboard could be used to collect feedback and such from the students. This book, Classroom Assessment Techniques, or abbreviated CAT, is the Bible in this area. It's only on the second edition. It's very old, 10 years old maybe, and but it's still considered the document to go to. It doesn't talk about technology at all. It's talking about classroom things that you can do in class and with your students. So using Blackboard to it is kind of an add-on that I'm going to talk about today. Feedback. Something happens, it has an effect, the feedback goes back to affect the action the next time, and the feedback takes the effect, feeds it back to the action, which then spirals round and round. Feedback you've often heard on a microphone, where if you hear the squeal that happens in a auditorium or something sometimes, that's because the microphone is picking up the sound coming from the speakers, and the sound is going back into the microphone and going up to the speakers and coming back to the microphone and going up to the speakers, and it builds up, builds up, builds up, and gets this high-pitched frequency. So that's the engineering concept of feedback, but feedback consists in our classes all the time. We look at the effect of things that we do in student learning, and we adjust our action, our teaching, our learning environment, whatever, because of it. One of the questions that people have when talking about or learning about classroom assessment is, classroom assessment, the feedback, is are we already doing that with quizzes and homework? And the answer is yes, we are. Quizzes and homework are an effect of the teaching and learning, and a way of assessing learning, a great way of assessing learning. If you want to really assess learning, have learning objectives and assess it at the end. And you're all part of the SACS accreditation report, so you know about learning outcomes and goals and all that kind of stuff. Homework is really research-oriented. It's checking with the students to identify by testing or whatever what they've learned. Classroom assessment techniques, on the other hand, are student thoughts about their own learning, asking the students to provide information. It's not whether they like the course. It's what have you learned? What has helped you learn? And forcing them to metacognate, to think about the process. And it helps the students learn how to learn if it's done right. This is an example of a famous classroom assessment technique. It's called the 2-minute paper, and you can use it all the time in a class, and it's very well done with paper rather than a computer. Summarize the most important points of today's lecture before you leave. It's often called an exit ticket. You can't leave the classroom until you've done this and turn it in. And just to give the students 2 minutes to say, what did they get today out of the material, out of the activities or whatever. And you look at it, no names or anything, you look at it and get feedback and try to help prepare for what you're going to do the next time. And it also helps you understand, I'm communicating, what are the students receiving. So that's an assessment technique. There's a link at the bottom of the page, and these slides will be available. Herding cats or wrangling great classroom assessment techniques, resources together, from the University of Minnesota. So there are people doing this, and it is a valuable activity. Again, the book is the place to go if you really want to learn about it. I'm going to show you this as an example of a class. Let's see, let me get my pointer. Boom, 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 there we are. This is Bill's sample course, so we'll be going into it in a minute. I'm in the course documents area. You can see that here. And I'm in the Unit 1 folder. You can see that here. And in there I have a survey. A survey is different than an assessment. An assessment, I can see what everyone did, see there's results from each question and associate that result with a student. With a survey, I just get the results. So I can't see I can't associate a result with a student. So it's very good for questions like that 2-minute paper and stuff. Here's one that I made here for a class, really with just-in-time teaching as the question, and it's a 1-sentence summary of a concept you found important in this unit. I would most likely use this before class to ask the students, okay, you were supposed to read these pages. What's 1-sentence summary of something you found important in that reading? And then you can look at them over before class and take them in and talk about them. But you could also ask the question, what was the best thing about this unit, or the worst things, or what did you get, grade my class yesterday? So when a student takes a survey, they're going to see something like this. They've clicked on the survey. It gives them the question. I provided the example so that they could get an idea, because the idea of a 1-sentence summary doesn't occur to them very much. They enter their answer in here, and then they click on the Save and Submit, and there are 2 of them, one at the top of the page and one at the bottom, and either one would work. So it's a pretty easy thing for the students to do. Now I'm going to demo the process of building a survey and viewing responses. I guess I will give you a chance to use your green check marks and red boxes. It's 3:52. We're just about halfway through. The demo will take about 5 minutes or so. Would you like to see the demo or not? Green check mark means yes, see the demo. Red means no. Oh shoot, so I have to do it. Okay, if that's how you want to be. And Rhonda raised her hand. Do you have something you want to say, Rhonda, or type in the chat room? Or was that just a misclick? Rhonda, I can see that your microphone is clicked on, but I can't hear anything. Could you have muted your microphone? Many microphones have a mute button that we mute while, on the microphone itself. Did I base the activity on an assigned reading unit? Yes, that's what I would do. Is I would say, okay, here in the syllabus, often you've got these material that you're supposed to read before class, and one of the things that faculty often say is, how do I get my students to read the material before class and think about it and all that? Well, in one sense, if they could learn from the book, they probably wouldn't be in the class. So I find that students don't read material either. On the other hand, if you give them a question to respond to from the book, they're at least more likely to pick it up and open it to those pages and think about it a little bit. I certainly don't expect them to cover it extensively. And we'll talk on one session about the flipped classroom and what you can expect a student to do before class versus what they can do in class at one of our future sessions. But yes, I would have an assigned reading and then some questions about it. Okay, so and depending on what I'm doing, that might be a quiz. Not that I'm going to grade them on it necessarily, but I want to see which ones got which questions right and how many got it right and wrong, whereas this is just a survey asking them to fill out something. So let me show you now how to build the survey and how to view the responses. And for that, I'm going to have to change and start sharing my my Safari window. And again, I'm going to ask for a green checkbox if you can see my Blackboard instance. Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is a sample account that I use, and this is my sample course. I'll go ahead and get these things closed up so it's a little cleaner. This is Bill's sample course, it's the same one but a little cleaner in that I don't have all the garbage showing up here. I've simplified it. And in course documents, we have a Unit 1, the Black Plague, and by the way, this is a recommended way of doing your documents, course documents, if it works with your course, if it's unit, if it's content driven. Have the syllabus and then have a folder for each unit. And in Unit 1 for the Black Plague, I have my PowerPoint, and I have the activity that they're supposed to do, the survey, and they'll click on that, and then up will come the survey, and they'll begin. But for now, I'm going to cancel that because I want to show you how to make a survey. So we'll make a survey asking them about the learning lesson and what they got out of it. So I'm going to go into the evaluate. Well, I'm sorry. No, I won't. I'm going to turn on edit mode. And the way I do it is to go to assessments and go down to survey. And with Blackboard, there are many ways of doing things. So you may have a different way. You may go over here to evaluation and make your survey and then link it in. But I just go to assessments, survey, because I want to put a survey into this folder. So first it asks me, do I want to create a new survey or add an existing one? And you don't see me here because the only survey that I've created is already out there. But I'm going to create a new survey, and I'm going to ask, I'm going to title it Unit 1 grade. I should have prepped this better. Let me change that to Unit 1 evaluation and call it, please tell me the thing that helped you learn the most and how you used it. I'm going to skip the thing, and that's just going to show up on the item. Now I'm going to add the questions. So I'm going to create a question, and I'm going to make it a excuse me. I'm going to make it a short answer. You can make it an essay, and there isn't a lot of difference. So I like the short answer for something that is that I'm asking for a short answer for. Question title, most valuable part of the unit. What was the most valuable part of the Unit 1 in the sense of what helped you learn the material the most? How did you use it? How did it help you? Now, this is where I put in my for example. You might choose the lessons, or the, the book, the lectures, the assignments, the practice test, or perhaps the review session. Be sure to mention how you used it and how it helped you. Okay. I'm not going to edit any of that stuff. Instructor notes are just for my use, so I'm going to submit. I could submit and create another question if I had it, but I'm just going to submit that because it's only one. Now, I have now created my test, so up here comes Unit 1 evaluation. I can simply say, that's the survey that I want in this chapter, or the survey, so I submit it. It now gives me the content link description. The title is going to be Unit 1 evaluation. Oh, and I like to make these a real nice red color because it's something the student has to do. Sure, survey description. Sure. Open survey, a new window. No. Make the link available. Yes, I'm going to make it available right now. I could set the display after and display until and do all that, but I'm just going to do it this way. Multiple attempts. If you want the student to be able to do it multiple times, you'll do that often with a practice test, and that isn't one. In this case, I just want them to do it. Force completed. Force completion. That is, once they open it up, I just want them to type their sentence and keep going. I'm going to put a self-timer and put 10 minutes, since they know what it is. I'm not going to submit it. This asks if the system will submit it for them, and it won't. It will let them submit it late. But the timer counts down to 10 minutes. And this is a display after and display until. So I'm going to say, sure, display it after now and display it until, and let's say I'm going to display it until the 13th at, I want to do it at midnight, but I don't believe in midnight. There is no midnight because it's often confused as whether it's 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. So I always use 11:59. So it's 11:59 p.m. That's 11:59 at night. So they have to finish it sometime on the 13th because I've got class in the morning on the 14th and I want to look at it before then. Any exceptions, any specific people I want to give access to or give special rights to, no. Due date, I'm going to go ahead and put the due date in there. And I'm going to put the 13th at 8 p.m. I'm sorry, at 11:59 p.m. Because that will help if they look at the calendar, and that will help if they look at what their tasks that they're due. Don't allow the students to start the survey if the due date is passed. I don't care. Show survey results and feedback to the students after submission. Sure, they can see that it was submitted. There aren't any answers. It's a survey, so that doesn't make any sense. Survey presentation, there's only one question, so whether I do one at a time or all at once, it's the same. And whether I randomize the questions or not doesn't matter because there's only one question. So we'll click on Submit, and now you see this Unit 1 evaluation. As the instructor, I can click on that. I can see what they're going to see. This is what they see before they begin. They click on Begin. Here's the question. Question 1. They type in their answer. And they have to click on Save and Submit. They can save the answer if they want to, but they haven't submitted it yet. So it's crucial that they understand that they need to save and submit. The first time that you do this, you'll probably want to do this in class or with them one time to show them that step. so that they understand the save and submit. Now, I'm the instructor, so I don't have any results for that. So I'm going to go to that other quiz that I had done, the other activity that I had done, and look at the results for that. So how do you see the results? Well, you go to the Grade Center, and Rick, I need you to follow along with me, because if there's a different way that I need to be doing this or showing it, I'm going to ask you at the end. I go to the full Grade Center, and it's a survey. Now, neither one of my students have filled it out, but here's the Black Plague summary, asking them to do a question. And the demo user, and you can always go to Student View and act as the demo user and do it yourself, is there. And their results are there. Now, all I get is a check mark, and I can assign a grade, but we're not assigning grades for this. It's just whether it's done or not. That's all I can see is who's done it. I can look at grade details on that and comment on it. None of that makes any sense for a survey like this. But more importantly, I can go to the download arrow for, or the action button, I think that's called, where you can click and another menu comes up. And I can download the results.
If all you want to do is just see the results, clicking on attempt statistics will just give you the results on the screen. We'll give you a process. Yes.
Oh, is that right? Excellent. Let's go back to that. Because most of the time that's what you're going to want.
Right there.
Where is it? Attempts statistics.
This will give you the statistics for each answer in percentage.
Yeah, but it won't show me their actual answers, will it?
It will give you the answers, yes.
Well, I typed in for the demo student.
Was it for this one or the other one?
For this one. This is the Black Plague, and well, let me go back and do it the other way, and then we'll look at this later and try to figure it out. Maybe next week we can talk about it. So I'm sorry, I was going to the Black Plague one. Come on. Click on that. Download results. And I'm going to download the test results. And you can have comma or tab delimited. I'm going to try tab delimited. And it downloaded a file. And I'm going to open that file in Excel, and what's going to happen is I'm going to have to reposition my Excel over the other thing. Brett, Rick, can you see the Excel?
Well, no, it's a gray area.
Good. Okay, so I'll share my Excel. Ding, 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 ding. How do I do
share
that?
The entire screen?
Sharing? Probably.
Share your desktop instead of just one application.
Yeah, but oh, there it is. I see. No. Where's the sharing button? It's on my, oh, I see it. Okay. Very good. I think I see it. Okay. That should have stopped sharing, and then I'm going to try to start sharing again with that application. Sorry. How do we deal with, yeah, you should all go up to the smiley face and go to the LOL and show it when the teacher doesn't know how to do something that they're training you on. I'm just waiting for application sharing to start. Is there, Brett and Rick?
Click Start Sharing again and select your desktop.
No, when I click Start Sharing, nothing
if you
appears.
go to the tools on the top and click Application
Oh,
Sharing,
use
you
that?
can start sharing, or share entire desktop. You have two options.
Under Application Sharing, I just
On
get
Tools,
Send
if
Key.
you go to the Tools menu, then Application
Tools.
Sharing, you have two options, Start Sharing or Share Entire Desktop. Okay,
No, I
if you click
don't.
on Start Sharing, it should give you
Maybe one of you could start sharing, and then I can take it back and not be
you want me to start sharing?
locked in. Yeah, try it.
Sure, hold on 1 second.
Make sure everything is okay on your desktop.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, well, I'm going to go back to the whiteboard and finish this up because I want to give Brett time to work on his thing. A few quick slides at the end. We had a person who applied for the Excellence in Teaching Award a number of years ago when I was still involved in it, from the School of Business, I believe, and he did a survey at the end of every unit of every class that he taught, and he asked the students to reply on what had worked well for them in learning, and if there was anything that hadn't worked for them, and if he had made changes for the previous year, he asked them to specifically comment on those. So if he had added a video or changed the assignment or whatever, when he changed a textbook, he did that. And these are all anonymous, but he would take them in, read them, often come back to the class and ask them questions about it if he had questions, and then tell the students how he was going to change it next semester, this unit, and if there were things that they commented on that should be changed in future units, he would tell them, okay, so you said that you needed more time to finish the project, so here's what we're going to do for that, or you needed more feedback in advance, or better definitions, or whatever. So after doing this at the end of every unit over a number of years, he continued to get suggestions. He continued to get things from the students. They became his partner, and they understood that it was their job to learn, and they could only tell him what was working for the learning, what was the best part, and what he should change by thinking about it themselves and giving him that information. So that's that metacognition part of it. It also meant that at the end of the year, when he gave them the course evaluations, he got 5 out of 5 on every question, because he had built this rapport with the students, and they knew that he considered this important, that he considered their opinions important, and they respected that and evaluated him with perfect scores. One of the things that you have to be careful of is that the students will be very confused the first time you do this. They're not used to being asked questions like this that don't affect their grade, that are for your use in evaluating what's going on and improving it. They're not used to, in many classes, being considered the partner of the teacher in the learning activity. So you do want to explain it to them and understand that there will be some confusion. We're not trying to design a push-button university. This is one of the things that people often complain about with the classroom assessment, is what we're saying is that the students are the customers and we have to do whatever they say. I went to FIU in the 70s to get my master's degree, and there were courses where we walked in and they said, okay, what should we learn in this class? Let's make the objectives. That didn't make any sense. I was a math major in undergraduate school in the 60s, and I would look at these course descriptions, and I didn't know anything in the course description. I didn't know this theorem or this proof or what this meant, because it was math, and you don't know the new material that's coming at you. So for me to design the goals of the course would have been ludicrous. And in general, that's right. I mean, you're the teacher, you're the person who knows what the students need to learn, but the classroom assessment is not to set that kind of thing, but it's to interact with them and pair with them to help you improve that learning over time. So I believe firmly in classroom assessment techniques. Are there any questions? Okay, feel free to use the applaud choice from the little smiley face pull down if you're happy with what we're doing and would like to move on. But there are buttons there, slower and faster, and confusion, that you should know about. If something is going on and it's clear that you want us to move along, we can't see you. So you can see your students, and when they start drifting off to sleep or when they're nodding and attentive and engaged, you can see that. We can't. So you feel free to use those buttons. Okay, so that finishes this section on classroom assessment techniques and the using Blackboard as a possible way of doing it, and surveys in Blackboard.